All right, let's see here. I was born and raised in Sweden and grew up eating a lot of pickled herring. Eating herring is a national pastime in Sweden. Actually, any reason is a good reason to eat pickled herring. Not necessarily for eating herring, but to get together and drink beer and vodka. More Swedish babies are born 9 months after any respectable pickled herring party. I'm not sure what my parents were doing in March in 1955, but it must have been an excellent party. As you can see, my parents started me out early with pickled herring. The story how Sweden became a nation of herring eaters is really the tale how the Vikings ransacked Europe in search for produce to create a classic Swedish meal. Herring was plentiful during the summer, but in the winter, the water froze and you couldn't get fresh fish. So after eating rotting fish during the winter, somebody came up with the idea, salted. But the Vikings soon got tired of salty fish. That's when they decided to find other ingredients to make the herring taste better. In France, they found wine for wine pickled herring. The Danes had dill for dill pickled herring. While the Danes and the Norwegians traveled west for their conquest, think America, the Swedes went to Russia. Lucky them, the Russians introduced them to vodka. By the way, the Swedes are not only known for their love of pickled herring and smoked eel. Whoever came up with the idea to make lutefisk must have had a strange sense of humor. Why would you put perfectly good fish in live for 14 days and then eat it? Now, what do you do after eating a lot of salty fish? You need something to drink. Lucky for the Vikings, they had built-in drinking vessels in their helmets. The Vikings realized that they could uncork the horn on their helmets and use them to drink beer. In between fighting, the Vikings met and had herring parties. And where Scandinavians party, there's a lot of drinking. The Danes had perfected beer making, so the Swedes got the taste for Danish beer. Sad to say, only drunken Swedes drink Swedish beer. The Swedes were introduced to the potato until the mid-1600s by Alströmer, the father of Swedish potatoes. That's when the descendants of the Vikings perfected the meal. Herring, potatoes, tomatoes, dill, and lots of beer and vodka. Here are little-known historic facts. Henry VIII didn't off his wives because they couldn't provide him with an heir. They were all terrible housewives that couldn't prepare a decent herring meal. He finally had to get rid of his current wife and try a new one and hope for the best. The Swedish pop group ABBA outlined the downfall of Napoleon in the song Waterloo. In actuality, he had herring the night before the battle. Napoleon was suffering from stomachache and couldn't lead his troop against Wellington and lost the battle. During the Dark Ages, armies conducted biological warfare, catapulting dead animals over the enemy's castle walls. The Vikings were even more ruthless. They tossed herring over the walls before they sacked Paris. Under the stench of rotting fish, the Parisians gave up in a matter of hours. My Swedish cookbook contains many ways to prepare herring. My favorite, mustard herring, garlic herring, and fried herring with the head on. I've already mentioned white wine herring and dill pickle herring. You know, there's a lot of ways to slice a herring. The good thing with herring parties is that you don't have to wear silly hats, unlike this guy who's eating crawfish. Yep, I used to have a lot more hair. And modern-day Vikings can go to IKEA, or IKEA as you Americans call it, and get all the herring you want. Now, the best thing about pickled herring parties is that you get to sing drinking songs. So I will teach you the all-time Swedish favorite, Helan går! Helan går! Sjung hopparallallalej, helan går, sjung hopparallalej. Och den som inte helan tar, han heller inte halvan får. Helan går, skål, sjung hopparallalej. Now, if you play this song backwards at double speed, you'll find out that Paul McCartney really is dead. We sang this song in the church while we were taking the wedding photos. I didn't have the heart to tell the pastor that we were singing drinking songs at the house of the Lord. By the way, the big guy up there didn't seem to mind. Well, we're still married after 30 years. Whoever came up with the lyrics for this song must have had too much vodka. It just doesn't make sense. The empty glass is up for grabs. If you don't empty the full glass, you can't drink the half-empty glass. The full glass is up for grabs. Yeah. By now, I'm sure that you're ready to have pickled herring vodka and lots of beer. So without further ado, please tune up and get ready to sing along. I will put up the phonetic translation to the song as written down by an Italian opera singer who visited Sweden. Helan går, sjung hopparallallalej. Helan går, sjung hopparallalej. Och den som inte helan tar han heller inte helan på. Helan går. Skål!